All right. So tonight's scenario, we have a friend. She invited her friend on a double date, hoping for a fun night out. Instead, she got hit with unexpected judgment. Her friend declined, saying she couldn't be around someone who has been on 4 dates in 3 months, claiming it didn't reflect well on her marriage. The friend who asked was caught off guard. She defended her choices and called out the shade. Later, the married friend shared the combo online, literally, sparking a debate about friendship, judgment, and the birds of a feather flock together. So, because I had to take some names out and this was set, I'm not gonna read it again. I'm gonna give context. You have a friend that you've been friends with that's asking you and your spouse on double dates, but it's a different person in the last 4 months. It's been a different person in each of the 4 dates. The married friend now says like, hey, I can't keep going on these double dates with you because it's a bad reflection on my marriage. Do you all think if you had a single friend who was actively asking a married couple to go on a date, is that a bad reflection on the married friend? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep, I agree with that.
Further explain, Lewis. Say your point a little further, brother.
I think you have to protect your marriage.
Okay.
Like that's the one thing that I learned earlier. I have to protect my marriage, and we can't associate with everyone as often. And when you have a rotation of people, that means you aren't stable, right? You could be in the vetting process and you could be going and working through it, but if I'm introducing you into my dynamic of my wife and I have to make sure that I'm surrounding or we are only allowing a certain atmosphere in certain environments. And I think we can't allow people to impose on that. And I do agree with protecting that. I don't think we should judge anybody, but I do think you should have to protect that. You should protect that because when you go on double dates, it's fun, but it's also exposure and talking about relationships. And I feel like if I were to be in that situation with my wife, we couldn't fully enjoy ourselves after this second or third person because, you know, we feel like we're now reestablishing and establishing relationships. We don't know how much we can share or how much we can be ourselves around a stranger.
So Lewis, can I ask a question to your response?
Mm-hmm.
Great response.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Would you feel a way if it's your wife's friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
If she didn't go on dates but spent a lot of time with this person, not I shouldn't say feel away. Would you be opposed to that?
With
Because
out of all four people,
No, she's spending a lot of time with the friend. She's not even going on the dates with her. That's just what
yeah,
she
I would.
spends a
I would
lot of
feel
her.
some. But she got
Which,
it's just having a single friend. So I mean, I
mhm.
would. I would. There would be some apprehension. I'm trying. I was gonna lie, but no, I would be apprehensive about it.
He said,
Yeah, I would be apprehensive about it because I mean, listen, you walk with what you know. Walk. You know, one man walks with wise men, you become wise. You know, you walk with unwise people. I think as a married person, I'm not even gonna speak for women. As a man, I can only be around single men, but so much.
mm,
Mhm.
That's just the reality of it, right? Because again, I gotta protect me and my marriage, and we're not like minded in that sense. And
Mhm.
typically, you know, men, y'all know how we are, especially when we single. A lot of us on the prowl, and we going out. Half the conversation for that single man may be about the environment and the women, and that's not where my focus should be. My focus can't be around that. Not speaking for women, but in my experience, it's best to keep yourself around like minded people.
mm.
I echo that, my brother.
For sure.
I echo that. That's real. That's because then you'll start acting like that. You know what I'm saying?
Man, what?
You'll start want to be single minded and all of that. And nah, that ain't the because if you bring that company, you'll be wanting to do the same thing. Married couples are supposed to be with married couples. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? That's supposed to be the kind of dates that goes on. You know what I'm saying? I ain't supposed to be hooking up with my single friend and he's got an unstable you know what I'm saying, relationships. And yeah, that's not birds of
So
a
It's
feather
risk
flock
because that
together.
what we got is different. Like you know what I'm saying? It's a
Yeah,
lot of risk associated with the marriage,
man,
right?
yeah,
When
boy.
you dating,
Yes,
it's
sir.
not as much risk there.
Mm-hmm.
hey, so
Yes.
so before we go to the next, so Marcus says that she's weird for that. So much ego to think the choices of others reflect on you. How can a person's one-time appearance affect the other couple's marriage? Last but not least, Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
You wish.
I was going to say this, man. I'm going to say this. I'm sorry. Matter of fact, Jay, brother, you've been on fire tonight, and you keep going last. So I want you to go. You go ahead and go, bro. Then I'm going to throw it to somebody else after you, brother. You just go ahead, man.
I think that whatever Lewis said, great points. And King David, you made some great points. But,
Thank you, my brother.
Dealing with dealing with like married couple and dealing with like a single couple, she's bouncing around. You know, obviously she's in the vetting process doing that. A lot of things can happen. Number one, let's say you as a person, you and the guy, y'all build a good rapport and y'all start getting close. She's rotating different people. Now it's gonna make it awkward because now you actually like, you know what, this dude pretty cool. So that's a issue right there. And I also think that when you're hanging around people that are not like-minded, like you said, Lewis, no matter what, you're going to start to take on their characteristics, subconsciously or consciously. It doesn't matter. You may not, but you may get around, and now that single life to your homegirl may look fun to you. So now you're starting to do certain things like, hey, maybe we should go out more. So now you're bringing that back to your marriage and kind of messing your dynamic up. And it's getting to a point where it's like, okay, now we causing turmoil over here because this said person is looking fun over here for her. So I think that like-minded people should be around each other. If you do have your single friends, limit it.
Agreed.
Oh, Brittany came up off mute. Go ahead now.
Okay. I don't agree with anything that y'all have said.
Oh, man.
Well, thank you.
And I am a married woman. I am a very married woman. And I have a lot of single friends. Majority of my circle is single. I don't think, so let me say this. I do think that you should have the judgment thing is terrible. It's wrong. I don't agree with it. I do think you should have a conversation with your friend and tell her what you feel, right? Like, sis, maybe slow it down, switch it up, whatever that looks like for you. You need to figure out life and stop bouncing around, whatever that looks like. But I'm having a real heart to heart. Do I think going on these double dates impose on your marriage? No. Why? Because I feel like this. If it's kind of like being I don't want to use that example because y'all might eat me up with that. But
Nah. You done jumped out there. Go ahead.
It's I try and correlate it a little bit with being like a wingman, right? Like in school when you went to the bar or whatever, and you were just like a wingman. You were there, kind of whatever. You don't necessarily have to interact and engage in everything that's happening, that's taking place. I just feel like if your marriage is solid, right? I personally think 4 dates in 3 months is a lot, is excessive, but I'm not going to judge my friend for it. Again, I'll have a conversation with her, but I still feel like there's a reason why she's asking me to go. Maybe she's lost in the sauce about something. Maybe it's security reasons. Maybe it's, I don't know, whatever it is that she's asking me to go with her. There's a level of comfort that she's also asking me to bring my spouse. I don't think that affects our relationship in any way. I do think that it's sucky to have to try and sit with a couple. Sometimes you just don't want to do that. But like, I don't think that limiting single friends, I don't like to put them in a bubble because I feel like married people should be strong. You don't have self-control if you can't go with your single friends and do certain things. You got to know your own limit. You have to know your own levels of respect. Like, I shouldn't do that because, and so I say that I don't want to categorize it to men and women, but I do find in my experience, Brittany's experience, that most men that I've encountered have a more difficult time being in a single man space because it's easier to kind of navigate that versus a woman who can kind of, a married woman going in a single woman's space, pulling away from some of those things. And that, I don't know. I just have a difference of opinion, and maybe I'm pushing my own experiences out on this because I have nothing, like I said, but single friends except for a few. So I just kind of feel like in those spaces, you just have to know what those levels of respect kind of look like for you in your relationship. And it's okay to to encourage your friend to do all the things, but then also later come back and have a conversation about like, sis, okay, do you see a pattern? I done been on 4 dates with you. Do you see what type of person you're sitting down with, talking to, connecting to? This is really not the person for you. Or
We
this
too grown, but Brittany, we too grown for that right there.
I
And-
understand, but as a Keenan, you say that, but like as a friend, I'm trying to think of like some of my best friends are single. I don't think I'm ever too grown to tell them my opinion about what they're doing.
So Brittany,
Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
Brittany, real quick. I get what you were. Where's the respect that from your single friend for your marriage?
But that's what I'm saying. Your single friend has to have the single friend not once disrespected my marriage and any type of.
She's looking at a model of consistency with you, and I've been on 4 dates with 4 people.
She's what? Say that again.
I said she's looking at a consistent model of you and your husband.
Right.
Y'all have been on 4 dates with 4 different people.
Mm-hmm.
Go on 4 dates with 4 people. Stop including us. Be consistent, and then we'll keep double dating.
I get that, and I get that, but I just feel like as a friend, Jay, like it is. I agree. As a friend, though, sitting on the other end of that table, it is then my job as a good friend to this person to then check that situation and let her know what I'm observing, right? Because some people just genuinely don't feel like they're going on. They can't pick it up, or they look up to me and my husband's marriage so much to kind of learn from these things, right? And they may need Mike to pick up on male stuff about certain things. Whatever it is, I just kind of feel like it might be a learning curve. And this is why I said it's important for me as a friend to have conversations after we go on these dates about, okay, let's run through this. What did you gain from this? Why are we keep going down this line? So
Asia, I promise you, I'm getting to you. I know I'm getting to you. Okay, I got you, partner. Wakanda forever. I got you. Look, so I'm Brittany. This is what I'm saying. I'm gonna be quick because I gotta get in my sis Asia. It's not the conversation you're having about the points. We are too grown for you to need me at the other end of the table to make a judgment call at my age of 34 years old. 4 times in 3 months, we got to evaluate more than just it's not about the dates more. So first of all, let me say this about the scenario. The issue is not the 4th date. The issue is when you got to date 2 and 3 within that time frame and didn't stop it before she felt comfortable to keep asking you to go on more and more and more. So you already set the precedence that you're going to go on multiple. Cool, right? You go on one, it happens. Now, I will be honest. Me and my wife have been on dates with my homeboy, and it's like, hey, we had to talk. Like, hey, look, bro, we just cooling tonight. All right, bet. My wife has a certain interaction that she's willing to have and a certain interaction she's not. If it's like, hey, bro, I think she the one. Those times in between have almost been 13 to 14 months. You get what I'm saying? Because it's not about judging the friend. I am a advocate for accountability. You can't. Why do you need me at your big age to be across the table to tell you about a guy that you picked? You can talk about it. You can. All I'm saying is across the table. All the conversations behind the scenes are legit. That's your friend. That's not what I'm talking about. Why do I got to be at the table? We can have the conversations back and forth before, like, I don't know. Okay, cool. But you asking me to come on the table. And the second part is, I said this on Last Name Loyalty. Asia, I promise I'm coming next. If somebody your age has to be the representation of a positive male figure, red flag. Red flag.
What do you think, Asia? I'm gonna get to you since he not. What you think, Asia?
Go ahead. You clocking that too, Jay?
Like,
I am.
All right, Asia. I'm interested to hear your opinion on this.
My heart is honestly aching right now.
Oh man, why you feel that way?
I didn't actually expect to get emotional.
Oh
yeah.
Okay,
wow,
bro.
this is
That's
actually
all right.
crazy.
It's all right. Come on. You good? Take your time.
So,
Take your time.
This is actually weird, but like I am the single friend, and all of my friends are married.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so to hear the thing that's actually, I think, getting me like this is to hear like, I don't think that folks that are married, I don't think you understand how isolating it is to be the single friend and everybody else has their pair.
Yep.
It
That's
is
fair.
extremely isolating. If all of my married friends had the same thought process of, well, we're not going to hang out with Asia, well, we're not going to hang out with Asia, I would be so alone.
Yep.
So alone.
Wow.
Okay. Do you feel like that's what we were saying, that we wouldn't hang out with a single friend?
What was said was multiple times it would be extremely limited, and there was actually a scripture used, right? And so instead of it being like okay, cool, let's, and I don't want to use like a biblical term, but I'm going to use it for the sake of this, instead of us as the married people discipling our single friends so that they can have marriages that are just as fruitful, that last as long, that they can understand the mistakes that we have made, you expect me as a single person to only hang around single people?
Yep.
That
Well, see, someone
is
like you,
hold
we
on.
can tell you gonna bring the right person around. So if it's a
Yeah,
consistent, you know what I'm
that's
saying,
uh-huh.
you're gonna bring the right.
I hear what y'all are saying, right? And y'all know me. So I'm speaking, I guess I'm coming from a place of like the people that are watching this that are just like me, that are then hearing statements like this, right? And then to also hear, dang, okay, so the man that I might potentially be marrying is only hanging around other single men. That actually sucks to
It's
me.
nice. It's
I think it's nuanced, right? And I'm just telling y'all as the single, as this single person here, right? No kids or anything like that, who once again, all of my friends are married. So there are conversations that I've had, like Lewis, that you and I have had. I'm like, wow, dang, okay, I'm getting a lot of perspective here, right? And like, and some of my other, like, okay, cool, like I'm getting a lot of perspective here. When I talk to Britt, and here's the thing. So going back to the scenario, I think I think having that many dates in that short of time, I think that that's aggressive and that's excessive. And I don't think that that's fair, right? Let's say I'm like, I'm down to like the two guys that I'm like, okay, maybe so on and so forth, right? And Keenan, to your question, I trust Britt and I trust her husband, right? I know I can call Britt on the phone. I can give her a recap of the date. Sure. You know what will be so different? I don't see all my blind spots. There have been times that Britt has been around me and she will call me out and she'll say, sis, do you know you're doing that? Whoa, if it's just me, I think I am putting on my Sunday's best.
Yeah,
I just
but
think
Asia,
I'm just the best thing walking.
may I really quickly?
Absolutely, yeah.
I really want to really be very. This is straight up, no BS, and I appreciate your vulnerability for real. So I'm really not joking. I'm being super honest with you right now. I think there's a level of intentionality that you're removing from yourself about who you bring around those people. You just said if I'm down to my two, I want to be very clear. Let's use Jay. Like Jay right now, like he's a single friend that I spend a lot of time with and invest a lot of conversations with and even the guys around me in this podcast thing, like they're single, I still invest time in them. I think from the scenario when the frequency and the window given, that's when it seems like instability is something to play. You and what you said that I think is very different. You took time to vet your process, and in that process, I would assume that you all are having conversations about the things that you're experiencing, and maybe, hey, look, and maybe you go on a coffee date, and I'm gonna use Brittany because she's up here, and Brittany comes with you in that environment. Like, hey, I want you to meet my girl Britt. That's not her bringing her family into it or bringing her husband into it in that initial interaction. I think a lot of times that there's not you. There are a lot of single people that don't understand the boundaries that you can't do, even if I'm hanging out with you without my wife. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to wingman real quick. I'm being super real Earth One. Wingman gonna only look like so much now. Like you better get your game together real quick because I'm only all right, bro. Like, hey, look, man, I'm not here for that. Now, I also know that my friends will say, like, man, Keenan ain't going there. Now, if you need a environment, if you need an ear to talk, and you've been putting time into this person, it's time for us to meet. Cool. Because would you just bring all those dates around a family member that quick? You know what I mean? And I think when you bring in somebody's spouse, you're leaving them to make another judgment because they could protect themselves. Now I'm responsible for protecting this person as well. So Asia, I don't want you. Well, I'm speaking for myself. I don't think it's the going on the double date. I think it's the frequency and the number within that that doesn't allow me a fair judgment of that person, because within that 3 months, I'm still dealing with my life. So I still have to create that time to be there for you as a friend while you're going on those dates that we can talk. But to say that I'm going to be, that's my date weekend every weekend. And I'm sacrificing going on a date with my wife to make sure that I'm supporting that friend.
Keenan, that's totally, I think availability is one thing, right? Like if you're not available, I think it's okay to say no to your friend if they keep asking you to go out on a double date. But when I was making my statement without using my good sis here as an example, I was waiting for her to express her status online. But she is one of the at the top 3, right? And I said that, well, even when we're talking about frequency, sometimes people do not see what others may see. If I'm frequently dating over and over and over and over again, I have a friend right now who, like, every 2 months, and I'm like, okay, sis, we have to have a real conversation. You're not seeing it. You clearly not seeing it. And I will literally, that's why I said those conversations are so important. And I don't think there's a problem with going on the double date, because someone genuinely might not understand what they're missing or the point that they're missing in these conversations, these interactions with men, or something. There's trauma responses. Like, I'm attracted to this person, I can't let it go. Okay, well, let me call you out on it and let me let you know what I see. So I don't think it's a bad thing. And that's why I'm a firm believer in, like, yeah, I am the friend that's going to follow up. I am the friend that's going to go, because if I have the time and my husband's okay with it, because you're asking me for a reason. We're not just out here willy-nilly.
But Brittany,
hey, Kenny, let me speak. Let me
go
give me a
ahead,
second.
Lewis, I'm sorry.
So I use the wise men walk with wise men to become wise, and et cetera, et cetera. But Asia, to your point, you are hanging around people who are married, and that seems like I ain't gonna get too deep, but that seems like the direction that you're going in. So you are being influenced by people that are already there. Yeah. The point that I made about protecting my marriage, or the boundary, I think is set. And Brittany, you have a unique case, right? Where you are, your peer group or your friend group is majority single women, and that's unique. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's not a typical dynamic. I will say for women, it's a lot different, because the ratio for man and woman is 7-1. Right. So for us, when I think about single, the experience of me hanging out with my boy that's single is a little bit different than it is for y'all. And in my experience, this is just me being honest now, I got to be honest about my experiences. People who have not or not married, they have a difficulty understanding the risk that we face as married people. Like, it's hard to comprehend the risk the risk that associated with being married by being in certain environments, right? When I heard Kenan ask that question, I'm thinking, okay, is my wife going out to a club or socially hanging out at these places with a bunch of single women? Like, that's a red flag for me. It's not negative, but it depends on the type of people that she's interacting with. But I think the experience for men and women is different, and I don't think it's anything wrong. I don't think it's anything wrong with it. But if I had a preference, I would say that's it. But it's not a knock to you, Asia, at all, or you, Brittany, because I think you guys have your own individual experiences. You guys are great people. But that was the perspective that I was coming from.
And let me say something to piggyback too.
Hey, bro, this is what we here for. Go ahead, brother.
I think, Brittany, you made a very good point. I think we need to focus on more so, like, it's not about the double dates. I think it's more so about the conversation after those dates. Are you having that conversation with her, or is he having a conversation with him, saying, hey, bro, like, you know what I'm saying, what's going on? The frequency is very high. Turnover rates looking crazy. Like, what are we doing? Like, or is this what you want to do? And I think once you establish that, then I think you know how to, like, move forward with it. But I don't think a lot of conversations are being had between people. Like, again, y'all situation is very unique. Other people are more so like, yeah, we showing up, we doing this, but it's like that conversation and accountability is not being there. From my experience.
Yeah. the only thing I would say is I'm not removing the friend portion. I'm removing the 3 and 4 month, 4 going on 4 dates in 4 months portion, not the being a friend too. I think in context of the scenario, I think that energy is necessary to be directed in which way is needed. I also think something that Lewis says that really taught, because I think this too, Asia, and I'm gonna, I'm gonna give you your flowers. You know what I'm saying? I think the reason why, and if I may, please check me if I'm wrong, that level of emotion may be provoked because I think it's rare that you see someone like yourself that's actually verbalizing wanting to go that way in 2025, doing actual actions to. We've heard you say on the pod, I want to become a wife, so I'm going to do things that a wife would do when it comes time, or learn how to do those things. And I think for people like myself, even like in DC recently, like I opened up my home to you all. You know what I mean? If I felt any type of threat, no matter what the relationship status was, that would not happen. I don't care how hot it is outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yes,
it's gonna be hot in July.
But hey, look, bro, but because you want to know what? I'm gonna be really real with y'all. I've done it before, and I turned a blind eye to it, and I saw what it could do when you are doing it, and you think y'all friends, buddy. It don't work well. You causing yourself more turmoil. But I'm saying that to say, Asia, the intentionality that you're moving with your life right now is like second to none. So you also got to realize the way you move is going to make people married or single gravitate towards you. Even if it's just to be a friend, even if it's just to be an ear, if it's even just to be on a double date, the way you move as a friend, it will make somebody want to create that space for you to do it. So I think a lot of that has to do with what type of person you are.
Okay. That's true, Miss Asia. I don't even know you before an hour and 42 minutes, and I can tell that you are a godly feared woman. So you're going to walk in those steps, and you're going to gravitate the right people, and you're going to have the right people around you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to think what I said neither was, you know what I'm saying? Because I just met you, baby. You know what I mean? And I can tell from right now that you are a beautiful inside and out, godly feared woman, both of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So don't take that the wrong way. Okay. Because
appreciate y'all. I just had to, I think there are moments that and y'all actually say this a lot, like the guys, they're like, not y'all, right? But I do think that we do represent a population of folks, right? Like I do think, yes, there are some women that are like very irresponsible and all those things, but I also think like with the types of conversations that we have, there are going to be women that are like me, right? That like we're trying out here, like we're doing all that we can do, and most of our friends are married. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I always just feel like I have to make sure that some of the statements don't fall to like,
I think you're doing it the right way.
We're assuming the worst from the single friend. And it's like, well, there's some of us that like, we're actually good friends out here. And like, we're not trying to jeopardize your marriage, because that would also be like, y'all know when like this celebrity couples and people like, well, they don't make it, like, oh my gosh, like it's like the end of the world. Like that's how I view like my married friends. I'm like, no, like these are some like I brag on y'all so much. Like I really do. Like I'm always like, no, like y'all don't get it. Like all my friends are married, but like their marriages are like top tier marriages. You know what I'm saying? And that's like that's a pride, and that's a badge that I wear proud. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm speaking for the folks that are like in my position, that it's like I don't want us to always assume the worst of the single friend, or that it could bring y'all down. That's
so all. Hey, look, that means whoever he is, y'all better come right, bye. You can't have step with Miss Asia. You better come right. Real quick before we get to this fair foul, since they said getting insight from people who have experience is important to some single folks, I think single folks who want to be married actually want to chill with married people so they get their goal, so they can get to their goal. We agree, bro. We agree, bro. For sure. And don't be I will say this, and we're gonna transition. Don't be the judgy type married people. Like, remember when you were single all them ages ago? You know what I'm saying? When we was young punks. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get into this fair foul. Real quick, so I gotta answer this